Hello and welcome everybody, I'm on Bavarian and this is of course Crusader Kings 3. We are still here very much as Duke Lope IV with of course our family Asna and our wife Catalina. We have a very large family, it has to be said that we have 7 children and who knows how many are out there that, you know, are also part of our family. You know what, let's just check. We have 59 living members of our dynasty. That is pretty good, and I mean, you know, like just 1/6 of that is basically just our direct relatives. Now this is all fine and good because we are in a strong position, we have a strong family, things are going quite well. And yet, on a personal level, of course, Prince Lope IV, the Clumsy here, is slowly but surely asking himself, do I deserve the title Clumsy? Do I deserve to be a ruler, and how do I get back into God's grace? In the last episode, we of course had a pilgrimage. It went quite well. We made direct contact with the Pope. I do think that isn't too inappropriate, because basically meeting the Pope at this stage, when we rule over this hefty chunk of southern France, you know, this hefty chunk of protecting the rest of Christianity from the Muslims to the south, then I think it is not very unrealistic that we may even get some direct support from the Pontifex Maximus or some people that surround him. Before we jump into this, I would just like to mention that you may notice that our fame level is different. That is because I noticed that while I was toying around with stuff between episode 9 and 10, I was basically testing, okay, what does it look like when I change my inheritance law? Does it all work? Because we are of course playing with a bunch of mods and I want to make sure that things in general work. So I tested it, and then I didn't get rid of the fame level that I gave myself because I had given myself 1000 prestige. I have now deducted 1000 fame points as well as 500 additional prestige points. Basically, before episode 10, I switched the gender law to equal, and then that cost me 500, and now that I noticed, I switched it back to male preference, so we spent 1000 there in total. That is the 1000 that I gave myself without really realizing that I was then continuing that save. Usually I just experiment a bit, I check whether things work, and then I reload. I didn't do that there, but, you know, nothing really happened because we didn't die, there was no inheritance, and most importantly, well, we are looking at a situation where I was able to reset the fame level as well. This leaves us in a pretty good position. I don't know how we are going to be dealing with things going forward, but I wanted to reset this because I want to be fair. Of course, if possible, to really certify that we are a good ruler, I would like general recognition of me being a king, if possible, which would mean founding a new kingdom. Now, can we actually pull that off? Can we actually do that? I don't know, but what I can tell you is if we pull that off, then it would be deserved because our level of fame would not be unjustly illustrious. You know, I mean, it's not even distinguished now, but basically we were 1/3 done with distinguished, which of course isn't the case. Before we jump into this in terms of gameplay, I would like to find some partners for Lope right here and for Catalina Catalinus. Man, we are such weirdos. We named literally our twins. They are twins, right? Yeah, they are. We named them Lope and Catalina after ourselves. That is a bit weird. I'm not going to lie to you. We could make good alliances here, but I, of course, as you know, want somebody that is in a position of actually, you know, being fairly logical in terms of proximity, in terms of age. All that stuff does play a bit of a role for me. And I'm looking here, of course, on the British Isles and in Germany. It is all a bit far away. I don't really believe in this. Let me check, actually, whether I can find somebody, maybe internally here in Asturias or maybe in Barcelona. Somebody that is fairly close by at the very least. Oh, I found a mesh that is genuinely horrible, but I do think that it fits with the understanding that we have of our child, which is basically none. Conde Fernando Anfoses is, of course, bullying Catalina Catalinus, but hey, I just see them hang out a bit. I, of course, primarily take care of him. I don't really take care of Catalina herself. And so, over her head, I am deciding that she should get married to him indeed. That is awful. And apparently I can't even do it, can I? Catalina, oh no, there she is. I was blind. Yep, we are going to enter this marriage. I am genuinely, out of ignorance, damning my daughter to marry her bully. Wow. Yeah, that does seem very fitting for the sort of non-involvement and non-understanding that we have had for family matters. We have been a bit delusional, if not, you know, cowardly when it comes to taking care of our children. There, Agatha, you are not married yet. You are wounded, and it is an aggravated wound as well. You are arrogant, gluttonous, compassionate. Limousine right here itself isn't really hostile towards us or anything, and it is a local lord. Quite frankly, I think this wouldn't be a bad marriage. We're going to send out a proposal that Lope Catalinus should marry Agatha, and he would say no. Wow, because I have too many existing alliances. You know what, actually? Lope, what do you think about taking the vows? I could use a hook on him. Now, this is something I could, if he says no, he says no, right? And currently he is still somebody that would inherit something. I do want to clarify, I'm not asking him to do this because I'm in a situation where I want to get rid of my heirs. I don't feel that way at all, in particular because we still have another heir that would still split the lands. I'm doing this because, well, effectively, this might change my standing with the church, and indeed it does, as you can see. So this is me sort of feigning religiousness, zeal, but at the same time also hoping that it might actually work, that Christianity might, and that God might actually respect me a bit more and protect me. So I will ask him with my hook to actually take the vows. I don't have a marriage, match for him, so let's just see whether he agrees to these odds. You can read the biographies, of course, all of that makes sense. I don't know, I will tell you right now, whether we will found a kingdom. I don't know whether we will fight heathens, but what I can tell you is that these are certainly things that Lope wants to do to prove to himself that he deserves to be in the position that he is in. And here we are, he accepted our betrothal. I have to assume your suggestion for me to uproot my entire life and scurry off to some isolated monastery is ludicrous. I'm happy where I am, and I have no plans to change that. Damnations. So he said no. I asked him to become a monk, and he disagreed. I mean, that is fair enough. I just basically, I'm just pushing my son into this direction so that he can repent for the sins that I have committed, for the sins that meant the deaths, of course, for, our Lord of Lapourdie and the Lord of Bordel. Ooh, and we have, I believe, the very first hybrid culture. Hybrid cultures are fairly rare here in this playthrough because I turned it down in frequency. And this is the Gyalrong hybrid culture made from Remea and Bodpa. So Bodpa right here and Remea over there. So this is Chiang. So this is, I believe, actually genuinely Chinese, right? Oh no, they have different heritages. Maybe Burmese, I'm not entirely certain. Wait a minute, no, I could tell if it was Burmese. Chiang right here, I guess Eastern Tibet, maybe, the regions of Wuhan and so on. Then we here have, of course, the actual Tibetan, or one of the Tibetan cultures, Bodpa, and they have a hybrid culture, quite nice. Not that we will ever see that in play, because, of course, we are very far away. I can designate a guardian, right, Elbira. Let me roll for you. I rolled a 3. Let's check this out. 1, 2, 3, and wow, very, very unlucky. Do I at least have somebody that can teach you quite well when it comes to diplomacy? Oh, Asna. Asna, quite frankly, you can take care. Yeah, you could take care of your sister. Why don't you? I think you are quite well equipped to do this. Of course, he is a charismatic negotiator, so maybe that works out. Again, it is not her strong suit, but I am very preoccupied with trying to lose my sins by bringing up Conde Fernando Anfosés and, of course, Paquilo Jacques de Vasconia, staring at stars. From all my evenings watching stars, I've seen with my own eyes what I have only heard of before. The stars move at different speeds and reverse their course at different times, but seemingly in large groups, depending on which celestial sphere they belong to. Indeed, with the right calculations, one could even predict their movement. My archbishop does not approve, of course. Leave the skies be. The celestial realm is for the clergy to know. See, the thing is, I sort of disagree with you. The cultural acceptance, of course, is doing the heavy lifting here, but at the same time, he is a deceitful man, and he is not a very persuasive man, so I will say maybe I'm currently being mistreated because my archbishop is misleading me. You know what? I will find my answers in the heavens, absolutely, and I will actually, to get even closer to what is going on, I will attempt to learn the language of the Pope, which is Vernaculo, so that is Italian, or well, Proto-Italian right here. As you can see, he's a Lombard, and let's see whether we can maybe come closer to God by doing all that. Remember, we did shift our focus to theology. And oh, look at this. I just noticed this. The Pope is almost willing to give me a claim on Prince Ramnulf III. I mean, he's a disastrous ruler, a sinner indeed. We are allied. I mean, that much is true. But if I am standing, and this is of course something where the distance of the entire situation is coming into play. If I am standing as an ally with him, I'm doing this because of family, of course. And if the Pope sees that a bad ruler, a sinner, has taken control of Guienne, and that the king of Guienne is, well, in no situation of actually ruling out that this sinner can do harm to the good Christian population here, then the Pope might give me a claim on this title. Mechanically, of course, I'm requesting it, which makes a lot of sense there, but I mean, I am pretty much trying to live up to it. I don't think I will claim this. I mean, it's an interesting idea, right? It would allow me to secure Guienne, which is our third duchy at that point, and it might make for cute borders. I wish at least that I only hold this for the Euro, but that's a different topic. Oh, Asna, you learned Lechitic, or Lekitic, so he learned Polish. Very interesting. Let me check here. Elbira, I need you to learn a language also. Of course, we all know the correct answer here is Indeed, very much Occitan, so Provençal. We are going to be learning that language for basically everybody here. Are you learning it? I believe you are, yes. Okay, very good. Everybody is studying a language. Actually, you aren't. You could learn Provençal. Yes, that is the trick. And you are already learning it. Alright, so we are making sure that they are all getting educated. I failed to learn that language, but that might just be because, you know, I don't know. Daily stress of a ruler. It doesn't really let you go and learn for a good while. While I was in this castle town with Conde Fernando, his attention was caught by a criminal chained in the pillory. Fernando lifted his head and made a show of ignoring the criminals begging for water. Good, let him know his place. That is very unchristian of you. No, child, bring the poor man the water he asked for, or spit on him. Beat him. He deserves nothing less. I will actually make you compassionate. I mean, it doesn't really go against me. This is justice, but we still have to take care of people, even if they are chained, even if they are criminals. They are still humans, so I will indeed extend that stress. And you know what? After that, I can't seclude myself. We did it too recently. I was just thinking that stressed me out so much. I should seclude myself. We may call for a hunt. Let me see. Would the Pope be willing to give me more money? Ooh, seeking indulgences would kind of be... would be definitely what I feel we would be doing. Ooh, she learned the language already. Very, very good. At least I thought she learned the language. Doesn't say right there. Maybe it only pops up once you're no longer a child. But I don't think that is the case, quite honestly. Now, you are betrothed, of course. We talked about this before. You and your bully can become very happy. At least I think they can become very happy. We could marry into Guienne, further binding us together with that house. Ida, what sort of girl are you? Diligent, brave, curious. She's a good girl. She's going to be growing up to be a very honorable girl. We have Viana right here. We don't have currently an alliance with him, but she is only 7 and would be getting betrothed with somebody that is already 14. So quite a bit ahead. Ooh, you could be... You know what? Let me take a quick look around yet again to see whether I can't find a good candidate. And I think we found a pretty good candidate here. She's 9 years old, Adelaida de Toulouse, and she will be marrying Lope Catalines, since he refused to, of course, take the vows. Now, we went to war against his family because it was the Count of Rouergue, Comes Hubert, that held, of course, a title that now my wife holds, which is Toulouse itself. We're going to marry these children together in the hope of finding some stability in this region. Of course, having stability is pivotal because it secures us both against the Muslim threat, but also trade as is here on this route. So I do think that this is a good addition to my collection of alliances. As you can see, many alliances we have positioned us quite well in the region. Very influential. Oh... And this has to be said, we are very influential in this region, which is why I'm slowly starting to think that maybe Prince Lope IV the Clumsy believes himself to be the rightful king of this region, not of Guienne as a whole, but in this region as, you know, in principle. Now, there is a new ruler in Guienne, Prince Ramnulf IV. He is the son of my half-sister, and Prince Ramnulf III, who we knew to be a murderer, who we, of course, used and utilized to get independence, but he was also a rather mediocre ruler, and I would rather not be compared to him. Now, what I'm thinking is, wow, the Pope really likes the idea of us getting a claim on Prince Ramnulf IV. That is a... I could just excommunicate him. That is ice cold. Basically, the Pope is suggesting that Prince Ramnulf IV does not deserve to be the ruler of these lands at all. And as you can see, ooh, he isn't even a local ruler. He's a French ruler, right? He's an installed Frankish ruler of this region. We are, of course, much closer when it comes to the Occitans and ruling with and ruling over them. Honestly, I'll gotta tell you, originally, and I didn't really cement anything, because this is a playthrough where I don't have long-term goals. They always arise as I play, and they arise as my character decides to go through with them. But originally I was thinking that should Navarra fall, we could reclaim Navarra and then potentially make a kingdom that roughly has these borders on both sides of the Pyrenees. But it has to be said, in all fairness, we have not been involved with anything south of the Pyrenees. Not really, anyway. We tried to do it once when we tried to go for Gérone and Barcelona in that war for Toulouse, but we didn't even need to take that at the end of the day. Our threshold, or rather our grip on power, is really centered here on Basconiaco and in Aquitaine in general. So honestly, I don't like this kid. Cultural acceptance is very low, personal diplomacy. He's sadistic, gluttonous, and sadistic, of course, goes deeper, and maybe this sort of creates some bad memories, or rather it opens up our mind to bad memories, to bad dreams of our father, Prince Asna II the Depraved. He was a sadistic man, if you remember. I mean, how could you not remember it? After all, he killed Conde Arnaud, and people rumor that he even killed Conde Arnaud's bastard child, although that was never really publicly declared. So that is a rumor that you probably shouldn't propagate, because that is an attack against the royal family of Cominges. Anyway, the way Prince Lope sees it, he slowly but surely, with the church's backing, is seeing himself as somebody that deserves to be in control here, because he is simply making for a good ruler, not in war necessarily, but in basically all other circumstances. Now, what we're going to be doing is, I think we should call for a hunt. If the hunt goes well, we will ask the Pope for a blessing. I will roleplay this in a way where the Pope, or where our Archbishop maybe approaches us, saying that Prince Ramnulf IV is a menace to society. Let's just have a hunt and see how that section goes. It is interesting, of course. He is still related to us, very much so, but hey, our father was related to us, and I don't think he deserved this. No! Princess Catalina! Bounding through the hills, I'm gaining on the powerful boar I've been chasing for hours. Just as I prepare to strike, I hear my wife, Princess Catalina, cry out in pain. She has fallen and is now clutching at her leg. I will definitely tend to her, absolutely. I will take care of my soulmate. Are you kidding me? I dressed her wounds, massive boost in health, that is very good. She gains 20 opinion, and I gain practiced field surgery. Yeah, that is not good that she... Oh, she immediately lost it. Alright, so we took care of our wife. Everything not as bad as I initially imagined. Returning. The hunt is drawing to an end. We mount our horses to leave the hills behind as the light fades from the sky. In spite of our difficulties along the way, the hunt went very well. Is that so? Prince Ramnulf, it has come to my attention that you should not be in control of what you are in control of. You are not somebody that is good enough to rule these people. I just need the Pope to confirm it, and then we can do what must be done. I have pondered your request and have decided to recognize your claim on the Principales of Guienne. There has come to light irrefutable proof that your ancestors did indeed rule the land in ancient times. That is actually not even completely incorrect. I mean, my ancestors per se, you know, that is not necessarily correct, but this is also just flavor text. Mechanically speaking, I would say that the Pope recognizes that the anarchy that has been, of course, the failure of the Carling dynasty, Charles the Bold, Charles II, is to blame for the anarchy in the south of France, but the Pope recognizes that this can't be a permanent situation. We are looking at a strong Muslim south. The Umayyads have overcome the rebellion and are now rebuilding. And man, he is doing very poorly. But they are now, technically speaking, rebuilding. And this just means for me, alright, we are going to go ahead and heed the words of the Pope. We shall attack and we shall succeed. Who may I call in here? Let's see. My wife, obviously, I can't call in. I wish I could. I could call in Foix. I could call in Bordel. Actually, I can only call in Navarra or Foix. Those are the only two that are enabled, that are possible here. How are my children doing? You're all promised. I could potentially promise Todar, Adelais, Catalines, König Konrad himself. He is 19. My god. What happened? Why are you willing to enter a marriage with me? Oh, I think marital ceremonies, cultural tradition. Oh yeah, okay, that is me. He is intimidated. That is why. Why are you intimidated by me? That is kind of odd. Opinion of me. Of course, he's marrying down too many existing alliances. Ooh, Cantabria. I like this. I like this. Yes, you know what? This is a local lord. Very much a big fan of this. We have Anjou alternatively, but... Ooh, here's Lover's Pox. I don't think this is a good match. No. Duke Roderico II Patruines. He is patient, diligent, and gregarious. A man right after my taste, and he speaks our language. He actually learned Basque. You know what? This is a great marriage. I think this is what I would call almost the ideal form of marriage here. They are actually in agreement, and I think that he will be a good... you know what? I overlooked that. I'll be honest with you, I overlooked that. Amazenda. I need you to break this off. I can't believe this. Why is everybody cheating? I think the seduction rate may be a bit too high, but that's just how it is. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, you know, that is just how the life is and all that. I will claim Guienne. Cost me 75. I think we will go slightly negative here. I think if I only call in him, we should already be winning. He's currently not at war. Cost me 150. Yeah, we'll be fine. And yeah, as you can see, we are slowly but surely cleaning up the anarchy that we have caused. I mean, rightfully that we have caused, because we were ruled by a very unjust king of Roi Charles II the Bold, and now we are in a position of ousting a dynasty that has no place in good Christendom. Yes, he is zealous, but he is not acting, you know, according to his zeal at all. So let's just go and let's make sure to destroy him. He became a physician. Very, very nice. I hope that he doesn't die anytime soon. That would be horrendous. And my nephew is under... Oh, that's me. Yes, I am claiming that my nephew isn't allowed to hold those lands. And of course, I will retreat. That is just what we do. Yet another mental break. Let's wait for our allies. This should be a pretty clear victory. I could attach to him, but ultimately I am leading this army, and that won't always be the case. I highly doubt that my son will be the one leading our armies, and then we will, of course, attach to the other armies instead again. Let's pick up the faithful trait here. Yes, indeed. Again, we do believe that what we're doing here is in the name of the church. Would call more allies. I don't think that's a good idea. We are losing money as is, so we should we should quickly move ahead and challenge them if we can. The sieges should also bring us money. Do you have any siege equipment? He does not, but he does have great men-at-arms. Can't really deny that. He's just retreating. Wow, are you commanding this yourself, Ramnulf? Oh no, it is Kerns Wolfhard of Angoulême. Wow, that is kind of injustice, quite frankly, if you think about it. Because this man, or rather this man's father, was it his father? They supported us valiantly. There he is, Wulgrin. Oh, it's just, they're related over 3 corners. It's his uncle, I think. Can't even find him. How were you related to the former lord? I wonder. Oh, there he is. Yes, okay, so it is his uncle that held the title and aided us. Prince of Israq of the Salamite Principat is under attack by Aragon. Wait a minute. So Barcelona is actually attacking the Salamites. I like it, and it is for the county, not for the Duchy of Aragon. I'm a big fan of that. I can't say that I'm not. If they take this, they would also take his primary title, but they have Saragossa, so a secondary is right there. Let's see whether Barcelona will actually win this. I respect this, and I wish I could aid you right now, but I am exerting justice. Let's see whether I can... Yeah, we're gonna go into debt here. In all fairness, this character has never been great with managing his money. But yeah, we do need to challenge him. He has a couple of allies now, none of which are too strong, but of course that is not really something you want to hear. You want to be in a very, very powerful position, smashing them whenever you can. And there we go. I seize the sponge on a stick. At least we're out of debt, I guess. Let's just challenge him. Let's go, and we can't challenge him. You know what? That's fine. Let's siege down Angoulême. Did I capture anybody? Nope, we did not. We did not capture anyone. That is perfectly fine. We're going to go into debt yet again, I think. And Lope comes of age. He's 16 years old. And he has become a fortune builder. Quite nice. Quite nice indeed. You, Catalina, have become an intricate web weaver. And man, yeah, she is irritable, she is scaly, she is wounded, she is stubborn, impatient, and temperate. I can only hope that Conde Fernando, you know, now that they are, well, promised to one another, that they don't mistreat each other, but again, I don't actually know anything about that history myself. My children are aging, that is quite decent. I could pick up the sponge on a stick, but honestly, I might just hand that out. Again, we're not actually a family, man. We're not very mindful of our family as is. And did this... Wow, England actually lost that war, huh? What is this? König Alfred has a peasant rebellion, not really too important. We have captured Estefania, who we know is a fornicator as well. We hold a secret, right, child's heritage. What is the secret exactly? Is she a bastard, or who is a bastard here? Right, so there is you are the illegitimate child, and you might be the rightful claimant to this title, but man, you're a deceitful man as well. You are all terrible. The dynasty up north here has done nothing but produce terrible, terrible heirs. Now let's see whether we can't win this struggle. Let's get in there. And of course, yes indeed, our Zaldun was wounded. Okay, well, a wound isn't as bad as a death, and that is actually a victory. After we consulted the Pope, after we said, Pope man, what should we do? What is my purpose? The Pope said, this is it. And it turns out when you have a purpose, when you are leading an army in the name of God, in the name of the Pope, to bring order, Everything seems to be working out. You know, this will actually be, hopefully, something interesting in terms of future mechanics that CK2 also didn't reflect at all. But popes and your bishops... Ooh, wow, wait a minute. What? I thought they went for Arago. Wait. Oh. Wait, what? I am so confused. They claimed all of this land. I thought he was going for that. I mean, it makes much more sense that it's this land because, I mean, you know, this is Haute Aragon and so on. But I'm very confused. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought they were going for this one. I must have misread that. Either way, Barcelona has just done a formidable job of actually pushing against the Muslims. Prince Guillaume, maybe I was wrong about you, and guaranteeing safety for these lands. He's not a good ruler, and maybe this wasn't religiously motivated either. But it's difficult to say that from a distance, which is quite literally what we are. We are at a rather large distance. And Erege Eneko II, right, this is a current patch issue. He comes to demand the Vasconia dynasty banner, despite me definitely not giving it to him, because I know it would just fan the flames for my family to rise up against him yet again. Listen, I'm doing this for your own protection, okay? I'm sorry, I know. He's gonna unsiege this, that's fine, we're gonna siege this and then immediately engage him, I think. Conde Fernando seemed to enjoy our latest feast immensely. Of all the things, he could not stop talking about the rich clothes and glittering gold he saw there. Right, he is greedy. I mean, being greedy is not a good thing. I could make him gregarious. Conde Fernando, being greedy, I'm hands-on with you. I'm a just, honest, and patient man. See, I could kind of forgive this, I guess. I am not greedy myself. I don't necessarily hate greed. Obviously, I know the church is against it, but I am the one that needs to repent. It's not him. I think I might give him a bit of an overly free-hand approach, right? I'll just say, listen, he'll learn later. He'll learn to not be greedy. For the moment, this is probably just a fad, a phase, something that will be gone in due time. Right. Ooh, and he actually excommunicated Prince Ramnulf IV. Well, yeah, wow. This campaign was, without a doubt, righteous. And this is another very clear victory right here. Can't imagine it being any other way. Let me check whether we had any losses here. And we actually... Wait, he's imprisoned, right? Oh, no, this was just a commander. I imprisoned the Count of Angoulême. None of our knights got wounded. We have the blessing of the Pope. I think we are legitimately finding our purpose again. We are finding our purpose again. And there you have it. The war is won. Wait a minute. Raymond de Toulouse has died 21 years of age. And now Comtes Alpais. Wait a minute. I need to check this. So, we did have an alliance with him. This much is very much true. And I could not actually negotiate an alliance with you. We have... Who the hell did I marry? These people. We have the half-sister, I believe. No, we have the sister. So, this is now the aunt of the current Countess of Foix. Right. The aunt of the current Countess is betrothed to Lope Catalinus, and he just passed away. I mean, we might be able to get an alliance there, you know, at some point, but I don't think currently it is all that important. What is important is this. Ah, this is gorgeous. And you know what is the most beautiful thing about this? Yeah, we're holding all of this directly. Now, this is a huge chunk of domain that we just gained with this single war. Now, if you look at this, you will see a very different future. Ultimately, we sort of fell into this. I do want to say this on a roleplay level. Prince Lope, let's recapitulate. He is being, you know, he had omens. I don't know whether that omen is still here. We did have that... not that fox, I mean that wolf that we saw, right? And we have seen many different things. We won our wars. We haven't lost a single one of them. But at the same time, you know, we weren't exactly a great ruler. We won, yeah, all of the wars that we participated in. Our level of devotion and fame are quite decent. And we are, of course, leading the Eoskuldunak, so the Basque people. But at the same time, we have lost so much in that first war. In a war just for the county of Toulouse, we lost so many good friends, so many people, so many good allies. Then we started to neglect our family. We started to be reclusive, to not really see, you know, the forest for the trees. And we are now in a position where we actually sort of have found balance in life again. Quite frankly, that's the way I see it. First of all, this realm is quite coherent if you think about it, because we are securing the direct tradeway through Carcassonne, Toulouse, then all the way up to Paris. That is secured by us, and that is very important that it is secured. We are also looking at a situation where we are now a much stronger authority here in Western Aquitaine. Basically, from the split that previously was us, Barcelona, and of course the actual house that we just ousted of Guienne here, or of Aquitania as we call it, we now only have Barcelona and Aquitania, so Basconiaco, left. These are signs of a reconsolidation of power. As it happened historically, as well technically, historically speaking, France was the one to re-bring their power into the region, but here we now have a consolidation after the independence movement, and we have all done this. Well, not Toulouse, but we have done all this big step. We have reasserted our authority in our duchy. We have made it clear that our family shouldn't infight, that the banner must be held by us, that we must remain strong. We have done all these things with the blessing of the Pope himself. We went to Rome. We asked him, what shall we do? How can I be a good ruler? And he said, you must establish God's rule in Western France. And so we did. And quite frankly, I'm looking at Prince Ramnulf IV, an excommunicated fool of a ruler. And I think, personally, that we shall go and request a claim on Poitou. Poitou, of course, would complete our Western security here, would also make it so that no excommunicated ruler would be in control of the road to Paris, and then, of course, into the actual heartland of Christianity. So, personally, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to say this is our holy mission. He is not somebody from a different religion, from a different faith. He is not a heretic, but he is somebody that is not in communion with the church, and with that is the same as any heathen. I like this approach. I really like this because it gives us a purpose. It makes Lope think that the clumsy wasn't deserved after all, he just was without God. And now he has found back to God, but at what cost? Because as much as he thinks that he now has a divine mission, he's neglected his family, he has neglected actually ruling over his vassals, of dealing with his sons and how they should inherit. I think that we are setting up a huge potential disaster for the coming generation, but until then is still time, so don't think about that for too long just yet. Right now, Prince Lope IV the Clumsy is right about actually unifying the west of France, or well, of the west of Aquitaine, and potentially calling a new kingdom, or maybe not. All of that, of course, depends on how it goes. What do you think this all means for our children? Should we, introduce them to ruling early? Should I give them titles? Or should I keep them all until the realm splits? You also have to consider Catalina Garcies actually changed her realm inheritance law to high partition. Maybe my wife is advising me to do the same. Frankly, I am not certain, but what I am certain of is that our power has just exploded, and it's not going to stop here. For the moment, I will see you later, alligator.